Good day everybody and welcome to Stefan's Kitchen. And this week, let's cook French onion soup. And, well, one of my things is I like making soup. I was always good at making soup when I was in school, since I've been out of school, etc, etc. So, I like doing soup episodes, it's fun. But anyways, this one's really basic anyway. As you can see, I'm just taking a couple of yellow onions, a couple of red onion, and a couple of vidalia onions. So we have the white, yellow, and red onions going into the soup. And basically what we're going to do is we're just going to cut them into nice thin strips like this. You don't want it to go, you want to, have enough onion in there, but you don't want them too thick, because when you're eating it, you don't want to have these big slabs of onion going in your mouth. And believe me, it can be gross. Well, not gross, but you know what I'm saying. But you want to try and keep your onions as thin as possible. Once you have them all cut up, we're going to season with a little bit of salt and pepper. Wow, I put in a little bit more salt than I probably should have there, but it all depends on how because I'm going to be using two different kinds of stock and a little bit of water, and the water should die down the flavoring a bit. The next we're dull down the saltiness. Next we're adding a little bit of pepper so we can season that, and basically we're going to cook this on the stove, and we're going to sweat the onions. We don't want them to cook, which means you don't want them to go brown, you don't want them to go golden. You just want them to kind of go soft. So that's what we call sweating. So we put it on low heat and we let the butter melt and we let the onions just cook a little bit, but we don't let them gain any color. And this way we're going to have something real nice. As you can see here, I've let them sweat for about a half hour or so before I add in the broth. And I'm using 1 liter of beef broth and 1 liter of chicken broth for this one. And usually, for most French onion soups, you don't use chicken, but if you do half and half, it's fine. Next, we're going to be using some red wine cooking, some red cooking wine, I should say. Which cooking wine, yes, it's still alcoholic, but not as much, and it's not as flavored as much as a regular red wine. So as you can see, I added in about 2-3 tablespoons. And we're going to just let that boil up and cook and let the flavors mingle with each other. The next thing we're going to do is the presentation part, which is instead of doing croutons, I like to take a nice piece of rustic bread and I'll just toast it in the oven with some butter on it. Nothing too extravagant. And we'll just, like I said, let that toast and crisp up. And then once we get our French onion soup bowls, we put in some of the cooked soup. Then we're going to add in some mozza cheese, as you can see here. And it's melting really fast. And this is about the point where we're going to try and put in our little piece of crusted bread. You got to be careful because, well, 1, you don't want it to go everywhere, and 2, you want it to actually fit into the little bowl. Once you get it in there, you're going to put on a little bit more extra cheese, and we're going to pop these in the oven for another little bit just to let the cheese melt. And look at that. Oh, baby. As you can see, that's a pretty good looking soup right there. The crouton or the crostini or whatever you want to call it there on top looks delicious. The cheese is melted evenly over the top of it. It all just looks pretty good. And like I said, this is a very easy, very short soup. So I mean, by all means, if you like French onion soup, take the time to actually make it, because it's not that hard. It's not that difficult, and you'll be quite happy with your results as well, I think. So as always, if you guys, like this, or if you ever do any cooking with these recipes, by all means, let me know. I could care less if you steal the recipe and change it around, whatever, but I'd just like to hear about it, as always. So, thank you all for watching. I am Stefan for Stefan's Kitchen, and I will see you all soon. I'll see you all next week for a new recipe. See ya.